It's one of the deadliest countries on the planet. Racked for decades by civil war, rape, murder and genocide. Now the Democratic Republic of Congo is in the midst of another crisis and potentially another civil war. But one group of young people is taking a stand, not with weapons, but with a message of peace.
We can even be killed, but if that is the price that we have to pay for change, then we will have to pay it.
Fred Baumer risks his life every day campaigning for peace in the DRC, a country that has little concept of peace.
Many of us was born and raised in that situation of violence, so we know very well what violence can lead to. Non-violence is a kind of answer that we give to that violence.
Between 1998 and 2003, a brutal civil war tore the country apart, killing up to 5 million people. That's more than were killed in Syria, Iraq, Vietnam and Korea combined.
All we can learn for their experience is that violence can bring only violence.
Sitting on vast mineral wealth and situated at the heart of the continent, the DRC could be the crossroads of Africa, if it were peaceful and functional. But the country remains extremely undeveloped. Only 1 in 7 earns more than $1.25 a day. Life expectancy is just 60 years.
4.5 million of people are displaced in DRC, more than any other country in Africa. 11 millions of people are in need of humanitarian assistance, and children are at risk of starvation. We feel like the government is doing nothing to change it.
The dictator, President Joseph Kabila, is standing down after almost 20 years, and the battle for who succeeds him is underway. The election, due to be held in December, will undoubtedly be an unfair fight and could push the country back to civil war. The favourites to replace Mr. Kabila could be as bad for the country as the current dictator. Emmanuel Ramazani Shadari is from the same party as Mr. Kabila and is seen as a potential puppet for the president. His likely opponent is Jean-Pierre Bemba, a warlord, former vice president and rebel leader who served 10 years in prison in The Hague for war crimes, a sentence that was recently overturned. Neither candidate is likely to bring peace to the country. Mr. Baumer is a member of Lucha, a youth group that does not engage in politics, but protests against the government's failure to provide services. In the face of mounting violence, Lucha's peaceful protests provide an alternative to the bloodshed that has plagued the country for decades.
I think it's right to say that I fear for my life and for the life of many of my colleagues.
Fred's fears are real. One of his colleagues, Lucan Kulala, was burnt alive in a house fire that was allegedly started by government forces.
We have to succeed in order to make sure we can offer a different country to the next generations.
If Congo could find stability, then the whole of Africa would benefit. However, it is unlikely that a presidential election will bring about real change. It is a risky moment for this fragile country. There's a real chance that the country could fall back into civil war, and millions more could die.